Consists of representatives from Oregon Parks, the Forest Service, the Columbia Gorge Commission, ODOT, Travel Oregon, the tribes, commissioners from Hood River, Multnomah, and Wasco counties. We've got 2 local businesses, and Hood River and Multnomah County Sheriff's Departments. Again, the topography makes it a very diverse group. When you add the only national scenic area in the state of Oregon in there as well, you've got multiple layers of stuff and people that have a vested interest in this fire and in this recovery. We've had a couple of meetings so far, and I think we've really accomplished some good work in terms of being able to get an assessment of what the short-term impacts were to our local economy, and we begin to put in place some pieces for, as you heard, how the state can assist the region in long-term recovery. But first of all, I've just got to, again, take off our hats. All of us take off our hats to the first responders and the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office for the amazing work that they did. There were no lives lost. And what the efforts they did to protect property in the face of this inferno over the course of that first week is just absolutely amazing. The fire moved, moved 16 miles in about the same number of hours overnight on September the 3rd, I believe. When you think about that, that's the pace that you might experience in a rangeland fire out where you're just burning through wheat stubble and so forth. But when you're burning through an incredibly complex ecosystem at a rate like that, people who were fighting that fire said they've never seen anything like it. Literally, it leaped the Columbia River and created a fire over across the river by Stevenson. It was the crowning and the projections of the hot spots were just something that nobody had ever really witnessed firsthand before, but it was all, I think, the efforts were summarized or can be encapsulated in the rescue and the saving of Multnomah Falls Lodge, to where the folks that set up camp there said, it's not going to happen on my watch. And they worked all night long with a tender truck from Portland Fire with a boom truck up there raining water on that lodge to protect it, and they did. Everything around it is pretty toasty, but the lodge itself, it was saved, but unfortunately it's been closed now ever since that day, and still doesn't have an opening date in mind. So you're right, Mr. Chair, closing I-84 for 3 weeks was unprecedented. But keep in mind, this came on the heels of a really, really bad winter season. If you remember back to the winter of 2017, we also had frequent closures of I-84, which had already taken a fair amount of economic growth out of these businesses anyway. So some of them were not in very good shape and really needed a good, prosperous September, and unfortunately it didn't happen.